Today we're going to talk about acupuncture. I realize how so few people are still using this amazing modality for pain. This weekend, somebody came up to me and said, I've had this shoulder pain for a couple of years and I've done everything. I've gone to PT and I still have very limited motion and range of ability, and now it's actually my arms are getting a little weak. Hi, Andrea. Andrea, who's an excellent PT. So when I said PT, I wasn't talking about her. She's amazing. Hi, Freddie. Hey, Patty and Deb. Thanks for joining. Good to see you guys. So anyway, I just want to share, hope to expand this modality for people because it's so underutilized, acupuncture, and it's amazing for pain. This weekend, I had somebody come up to me who talked to me about the shoulder problem that they've had for a couple of years, and they're still really weak. And they said, what can I do? I've done massage, but it only helps temporarily, and then it comes back. And I said, I actually don't know anything better for pain relief than acupuncture. And if you're seeing a PT, which a lot of my patients do, they go hand in hand. They are amazing. And I would love, actually, for people who are joining, hey Ann, to say hello to me on your comments so that I can say hi. Just let me know if you've had acupuncture, what your experience is. And then also, if you have any questions, please post it so that I can answer them during the session. So my name is Su Ping Negrin, and I am a Chinese medicine practitioner for over 20 years. And my specialty is really to help people remove the stress energy out of their bodies so that they can enjoy life again without pain. And I'm hoping during this session that I can share with you why acupuncture should be in your life and why it's so important. There are so many people out there living in chronic pain and you don't need to. And I honestly say this all the time, I don't know how people get by without it. Yes, Anne loves acupuncture, so does Deb, thank you. Hey, Tinley. So pop your questions below, and if you're watching on replay, please type in #replay so I can say hi to you afterwards. The main question that I get from most people is, does it hurt? And Anne had posted and said 98% of the time it's not painful, and if it does hurt going in, it doesn't linger. And Freddie posted earlier that it doesn't hurt. There's nothing that relieves the deep pain that she has better than acupuncture. So does it hurt? Well, it is a needle going in, and I wanted to show you what the needle looked like for people who have never had it before. I don't know if you can see this, but you see this? It's really tiny. Look at how it bends. So it is not one of these hypodermic, it's really, really tiny. So yes, can it give you a little pinprick, as Anne says? Yes, sometimes it does. I would say that for most of my clients, about 50 to 70% of the times, they don't feel it. And when they actually do feel it, as Anne says, it goes in, but it doesn't linger. And once that feeling dissipates, what starts to happen is that it starts to elicit this energy movement, which then calms your body down. So even if you feel the little pinprick and then all of a sudden you can just start to feel warmth and this energy going throughout your entire body. And that's what we call qi. And you get this relaxed feeling so that by the time you feel so relaxed, you're not thinking about that little pinprick at the end, at the beginning, and you're a lot less tense. I actually have a client who's she's just nervous. I guess she's always been nervous as a kid, getting shots and all that. And she has to talk to me the entire time. And that's great because it just gets her mind off of it, and many times she doesn't actually feel it. So people continue to get acupuncture despite this fear. And why do they do that? Because it actually works. And when they feel better and they get the treatment, next time they're coming back, they're not thinking about the potential pain or tensing up. They're actually thinking about how incredible they feel afterwards. And Linda says, love, love, love acupuncture. Yes. So it's great. They come back and they're not thinking about the actual treatment. They're actually thinking about the relief that they're going to work. It really is all about mindset. So how does acupuncture work? We have meridians. I'm sure many of you know this. We have meridians that flow through our body. And in those meridians, there are points all throughout. And it, I'm sorry, sometimes as I'm speaking, I see the comments. And I think, should I speak or should I comment? Okay, I'm just going to continue. So they're in these meridians, they have these acupuncture points throughout the body. And if you can think of the energies that's kind of going through the meridians as kind of not dormant energy, but energy that's just kind of going through, but in a not so heightened state. It's just kind of flowing through your body. And when we put a needle in one of these acupuncture points throughout the meridians, we're actually stimulating it. And I was thinking about what that was like. Imagine if you had all these light switches, right, that are amplifying the energy throughout that meridian. And when you activate one of those acupuncture points, you're actually turning on that light switch to allow the energy to flow through, and it amplifies that energy. So, and then once it gets stimulated, that's when the energy starts to move. You might start to feel some heat, you'll start to feel energy, and you will feel relaxed. I wanted to show you, actually I think I'll do a demo on this acupuncture point. And what's interesting is, I would say you would think that a needle's going into my body, that it would bleed, but believe it or not, 95% of the time the needle does not cause any bleeding. As only 5% of the time that does. So we're not intending to go into any vascular area, but obviously sometimes it will. Let me just show you what this is. I'm going to do a demo on myself. You should always swab the point, which is what I'm doing here, just like that. I let it dry, because if you don't let it dry, it kind of stings a little bit. And Andrea says it can sometimes cause an ache, which releases within seconds, and sometimes a quick twitch. And the twitches, we'll talk about that in a minute actually. And yes, that ache is actually called Da Qi. We've actually gotten the Qi, which is what we're doing. Remember, there's Qi flowing through our body. So when I put in this needle, I want to open up do that light switch. But in order to do that, I want to get that Qi. And here I'm going to go into one of the most famous points in the body, which is called Hagu, large intestine 4. And I'm going to do it right here. That point is right about here. And I always feel it. I'm always feeling where I think that acupuncture point is the strongest. And right here, right now, it's on this. And honestly, I didn't feel that. See, it's standing up. And then now Now, an acupuncturist will go in, and what am I doing? Almost like I'm fishing. I'm actually fishing for that, and I just got that point. I felt the tug. That's the Da Qi. That is what Andrea is saying, that she feels a little bit of an ache, right? I've turned that switch on, and what I'm starting to feel is a little sensation going up, because I've opened up that gateway. And immediately brings me into a calm space. And I may pair this with another needle, which I'm not going to do here because I only have one hand. And depending on what other needle I'm going to pair this with, it's going to stimulate or activate a part of the body that I want. And I was trying to explain this, trying to figure out how I could best explain this. If you think about meridians in our body as roadways, right? And within roadways, we have the major channels, and then we have the exits going off to the smaller routes. And if we want to go from, let's say I live in New York, and let's say I want to go from New York to Long Island, well, I would take the 495, and then maybe from the 495, I would go to the Wantar Parkway. And I have many different options. And in acupuncture, it's the same thing. So we have major thoroughfares, But depending on where I want to go, and let's say I want to open up, like let's use this example. This large intestine meridian actually goes up and affects the whole side of my head. It goes down into my jaw, and this is great for teeth pain. This is actually a great point to press. I'll talk about in a second. If you're going to the dentist and they're drilling, I hate that noise. And actually, I'm going to take this needle out right now, just so I can have free movement. Close it up. Here, if I go into a dentist's office, I'm pressing on that point, and this activates that same channel up into our jaw. And I just press a few times, and it just softens up, and it also has a calming effect. But now let's say I want to activate not just my jaw, but I also want to, my chest is really tight because I'm so tense in a doctor's office, I need to relax this a little bit. So I may pair this point with another point that opens up my chest, which is here at PC6. Right? So I would have both points activated, and now I'm going to get to the destination of my jaw as well as my chest. So it's just like a roadway. What's the destination I'm going to go to, and what's the best route? So we mix and match these points throughout the body. I hope that makes sense. Somebody says a river runs through it. Yes, that's actually how acupuncture got discovered. It really made the analogy of rivers. So absolutely, Linda, thanks for sharing that. And so yeah, just think about the acupuncture points as just kind of activating energy points throughout the body, turning on the light switch so that the energy flows. And what Andrea was talking about was sometimes you get that little twitch, and what happens with the twitch is that when we get into pain, our body tightens up and we create these knots throughout our body, and that's what most people go for massage, right? They want to get and remove these knots. So what we're doing when we go into those knots, we'll go in and we'll stimulate. We'll turn on those light switches to cause that knot to disband, and that's when the twitch comes out. And when that happens, your body opens up, and it's almost like a flood of energy just releases from that tense spot. It's amazing. And that's actually, in Western terminology, is called a trigger point release, which some of you may have had. Now, some can say, well, why can't I do the same with my needles? Good question. Think about energy in the body. What is the best conductor of energy? Metal. So there's nothing better than getting metal to open up and conduct that energy. So yes, you can do with your fingers, but it's not as great of a conductor. And what you're doing there is you're mostly working on myofascial release, which is great. But another thing that the reason why acupuncture needles are so efficient is that think about how small it is, and we're actually able to go into the epicenter of that energy point or that muscle. Whereas with a finger, much bigger, it's like 1,000 times bigger. So when we do that, we're actually affecting more of the surrounding of the musculature as opposed to the actual energy point. That's why acupuncture is so efficient. And then in addition to that, I can put in acupuncture needles throughout the body. I can work on different areas. With hands, I have 2 hands. So I have to work on one area and then go on to the next. With acupuncture, I can create a whole network and have the whole body and all the network of energy working for me all at once, which is why it's so amazing. But that doesn't mean that doing massage doesn't work, because it absolutely does. It's just not as strong. So like I said, this point here, great point. If you're going to a dentist or you just have a toothache, you have a wisdom tooth coming in, go in and just circular motion, rub. I instruct people between 5 to 10 times. And then you can also do it on the other side to give you double action to strengthen the massage. So I think, does anybody have any questions? Let's see. I think that's a good enough beginner explanation about what acupuncture can do. I think the thing to remember with acupuncture is it's opening up the energy gateways, it's stimulating it, And what did we say in our first video last week? It's all about free flow. The moment that I start to open up those energy channels, free flow starts to happen, and that is one of the top 3 things in Chinese medicine that we're always going for. So I think we're good. I hope you enjoyed this, and please let me know what you've learned, and hopefully you found useful that you'll take with you. Julian just asked how long the effects of acupuncture last. It's a great question. The effects of acupuncture will last as long as you allow it to last. What do I mean by that? If I come in and I open you up and I balance you and we free up that muscle, you're free. Your body is great, not tense. But now if you go back out there and whatever it is that you're doing that tightens it up again, let's say we're doing this, or we go out and we do a lot of physical activity and we re-injure it or we retighten it, well then that's not the acupuncture, that's your lifestyle. And that's actually really, really important. But that said, there are instances where a muscle's gotten so tight or that channel's gotten so blocked that it takes a few times to kind of teach the body to relearn how to create this free flow and how to keep the muscles relaxed. But once we get you there, then we bring you back to your lifestyle. Your lifestyle is the biggest determinant on how you keep this energy flowing freely. You're welcome, Freddie and Liz. Thanks for joining me. And so I hope you enjoyed this. And again, my name is Su Ping Ngrin, and I specialize in using Chinese medicine to help people stay strong by getting the stress out of their body and not in pain. And actually, I have a free PDF of the top 5, I'd say, well, there are many points, but I chose 5 most important points that we use in acupuncture. One I already showed you, which is Hegu. And if you want that, please just type in the word acupuncture, or just type in the word acupuncture and I will send it to you. And I thank you for being here. And actually tomorrow, I'm actually releasing a video of a live demonstration that I did at my daughter's school of one of these kids. It'll be great. I'll post it online. And until then, I will be back next week at 11:30, and we're going to talk about Qi next Tuesday, which is the energy that we're working on throughout the body and why it's so important for your health. Okay, great. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you next week.